The National Electrical Code, or NEC, doesn't explicitly say that 120-volt splices must be made in a junction box. However, in EC 110.14 it does require that all splices be made in an approved box or fitting. This means that while the code doesn't specifically single out 120-volt splices, it mandates that all splices, regardless of voltage, must be contained within an enclosure designed and approved for that purpose. This approved box or fitting serves several purposes. Firstly, it provides mechanical protection to the splice, shielding it from physical damage that could compromise the electrical connection. Secondly, it contains any potential arcing or sparks that might occur due to a loose connection or insulation failure, preventing a fire hazard. Thirdly, it offers a degree of environmental protection, keeping dust, moisture, and other contaminants away from the splice, which could lead to corrosion or other forms of degradation. Now let's consider the situation of exposed Romex in a kitchen cabinet above a range hood. NEC 334.40b states that conductors within a wall or ceiling cavity shall be installed in accordance with section 300.16. Further, NEC 300.16b elaborates on this, stating that cables and raceways installed exposed in finished basement shall not extend closer than 6 inches, which is 152 mm from the finished floor. Where such a cable or raceway is installed through a stud or joist, it shall be protected from physical damage by guarding or by being installed behind a panel in an accessible location. Based on these code sections, it is arguable that the exposed Romex in the kitchen cabinet above the range hood violates code, especially if it is not installed in an approved box or fitting and it is exposed and not behind a panel in an accessible location. The key phrase here is protected from physical damage. Romex, or non-metallic sheathed cable, is designed for installation within walls, ceilings, or other protected areas where it is not likely to be subjected to physical stress or impact. When Romex is exposed, it becomes vulnerable to damage from objects stored in the cabinet, kitchen utensils, or even routine cleaning activities. This damage could compromise the insulation of the wires, creating a shock hazard or short circuit. The code's requirement that exposed cables be protected, either by guarding or by being installed behind a panel, is intended to mitigate this risk. Guarding typically involves the use of a physical barrier, such as a metal or plastic conduit, to shield the cable from impact. Installing the cable behind a panel involves enclosing it within a cabinet or other enclosure that provides a similar level of protection. The phrase "in an accessible location" is also important. It means that the panel or enclosure must be easily removable to allow for inspection and maintenance of the wiring. This ensures that any problems with the wiring can be identified and corrected promptly. In the case of the kitchen cabinet above the range hood, the exposed Romex is likely to be considered a code violation if it does not meet these requirements. To correct this situation, there are several options. Firstly, the Romex could be enclosed in a surface-mounted raceway, such as wire mold, to provide physical protection. Secondly, a panel could be installed to conceal the Romex and protect it from damage. Thirdly, the Romex could be rerouted through the wall or ceiling cavity to a junction box located in a more protected area. Ultimately, the best course of action will depend on the specific circumstances of the installation. However, the goal should always be to ensure that the wiring is installed safely and in accordance with the NEC. It is important to remember that the NEC is a minimum standard. Electrical installations should always be performed by qualified electricians who are familiar with the code and who can ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. Now let's delve deeper into the specifics of splicing and junction boxes. The requirement that all splices be made in an approved box or fitting is not simply a matter of convenience or aesthetics. It is a fundamental safety requirement that is designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. A splice is a point where two or more wires are joined together to create a continuous electrical circuit. If a splice is not made properly, it can create a high-resistance connection which can generate heat and potentially cause a fire. The heat can also damage the insulation on the wires, leading to a short circuit or a ground fault. A junction box is a metal or plastic enclosure that is designed to house electrical splices. Junction boxes come in a variety of sizes and shapes, and they are typically equipped with knockouts that can be removed to allow wires to enter and exit the box. The box provides a secure and protected environment for the splices, preventing them from being exposed to physical damage, moisture, or other contaminants. The NEC specifies the types of junction boxes that are approved for use in different applications. For example, metal junction boxes are required in areas where there is a risk of physical damage, while plastic junction boxes are allowed in areas where there is no such risk. The code also specifies the minimum size of junction boxes, which is based on the number and size of the wires that will be contained within the box. When making a splice in a junction box, it is important to use the proper connectors. Wire connectors, such as wire nuts or crimp connectors, are designed to create a secure and reliable electrical connection. These connectors should be sized appropriately for the wires being spliced, and they should be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. It is also important to ensure that the wires are properly insulated after they have been spliced. Electrical tape or heat shrink tubing can be used to insulate the wires and prevent them from coming into contact with each other or with the metal enclosure of the junction box. In addition to the general requirements for splices and junction boxes, the NEC also includes specific requirements for certain types of electrical circuits. For example, the code requires that all splices in grounding conductors be made in a manner that ensures a permanent and reliable electrical connection. This is because the grounding conductor is a critical safety component of the electrical system, and it must be able to carry fault current back to the source in the event of a short circuit or a ground fault. The code also includes specific requirements for splices and circuits that operate at different voltages. For example, the code requires that splices in 480-volt circuits be made with connectors that are rated for that voltage. This is because higher voltage circuits can generate more heat and arcing, and the connectors must be able to withstand these conditions. When working with electrical wiring, it is always important to follow the NEC and to use safe work practices. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take precautions to protect yourself from shock and other hazards. Firstly, always turn off the power to the circuit before working on it. Secondly, use insulated tools. Thirdly, wear safety glasses and gloves. Fourthly, never work on electrical wiring in wet or damp conditions. Fifthly, if you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, hire a qualified electrician. Let's further elaborate on the specifics of NEC 334.40b and 300.16b to gain a clearer understanding of their implications. NEC 334.40b essentially directs us to section 300.16 when dealing with conductors within wall or ceiling cavities. This is a crucial point because it emphasizes that the installation of Romex or any other type of cable within these concealed spaces must adhere to a specific set of guidelines. The purpose of section 300.16 is to ensure the safety and integrity of the electrical system by addressing potential hazards associated with concealed wiring. Now, let's break down NEC 300.16b in more detail. This section specifically addresses cables and raceways installed exposed in finished basements. While the situation in the kitchen cabinet isn't a basement, the principles of protecting exposed wiring apply similarly. The code mandates that such wiring should not extend closer than 6 inches or 152 millimeters from the finished floor. This clearance is intended to prevent accidental damage from furniture, cleaning equipment, or other objects that might come into contact with the wiring. More importantly, it states that if a cable or raceway is installed through a stud or joist, it must be protected from physical damage. This protection can be achieved in two ways. Firstly, by guarding, which involves the use of a physical barrier to shield the wiring from impact or abrasion, or secondly, by being installed behind a panel in an accessible location, which means enclosing the wiring within a cabinet, enclosure, or other structure that provides a similar level of protection. The requirement for accessibility is particularly important because it ensures that the wiring can be inspected and maintained without having to dismantle or damage the surrounding structure. This is crucial for identifying and addressing potential problems before they escalate into more serious hazards. In the context of the kitchen cabinet above the range hood, the exposed Romex would likely be considered a violation of NEC 300.16b if it is not protected from physical damage. This is because the cabinet is a space where objects are stored and handled, and the Romex could easily be damaged by these activities. To comply with the code, the Romex would need to be either guarded or enclosed within a panel or enclosure. It is also important to note that the NEC is not the only standard that governs electrical installations. Local building codes and regulations may also apply, and these codes may be more stringent than the NEC. Therefore, it is always important to consult with a qualified electrician or local building official to ensure that your electrical installation is in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. In addition to the code requirements, it is also important to consider the practical aspects of electrical installations. For example, it is important to use high-quality materials and workmanship to ensure that the installation is safe and reliable. It is also important to properly size the wiring and circuit breakers to prevent overloading and overheating. And it is important to regularly inspect the electrical system to identify and address any potential problems before they become serious hazards. Ultimately, the goal of any electrical installation should be to create a safe and reliable electrical system that meets the needs of the occupants of the building. Now, let's discuss some of the potential solutions for addressing the exposed Romex issue in the kitchen cabinet. Firstly, installing a surface-mounted raceway is a relatively simple and cost-effective way to protect the Romex from physical damage. A raceway is a channel or conduit that is designed to enclose and protect electrical wiring. Surface-mounted raceways are typically made of metal or plastic, and they can be easily attached to the surface of the wall or cabinet. When selecting a raceway, it is important to choose one that is appropriately sized for the Romex being used. The raceway should also be listed by a nationally recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories or all to ensure that it meets safety standards. Secondly, installing a panel or enclosure is another way to protect the Romex from physical damage. A panel or enclosure can be made of wood, metal, or plastic, and it should be large enough to completely enclose the Romex. The panel or enclosure should also be securely fastened to the wall or cabinet to prevent it from being accidentally dislodged. When installing a panel or enclosure, it is important to ensure that it is accessible for inspection and maintenance. This means that the panel or enclosure should be easily removable without having to dismantle or damage the surrounding structure. Thirdly, rerouting the Romex through the wall or ceiling cavity is a more complex solution, but it can be the most aesthetically pleasing option. This involves removing the existing Romex and installing new Romex through the wall or ceiling cavity to a junction box located in a more protected area. When rerouting Romex, it is important to follow all applicable code requirements. This includes ensuring that the Romex is properly supported and protected from physical damage. It is also important to ensure that the junction box is accessible for inspection and maintenance. Regardless of which solution is chosen, it is important to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take precautions to protect yourself from shock and other hazards. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge and experience to perform the work safely and in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. To summarize, the NEC requires that all splices be made in an approved box or fitting, and that exposed cables be protected from physical damage. The exposed Romex in the kitchen cabinet above the range hood likely violates these requirements, and it should be corrected to ensure the safety of the electrical system. There are several solutions for addressing this issue, including installing a surface-mounted raceway, installing a panel or enclosure, or rerouting the Romex through the wall or ceiling cavity. It is important to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work and to ensure that all applicable code requirements are followed. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is updated every 3 years by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, and it is adopted by most states and local jurisdictions in the United States. The NEC is not a law, but it is often adopted into law by state and local governments. This means that electrical installations must comply with the NEC in order to be considered legal and safe. The NEC covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. It is organized into chapters, articles, and sections, and it is written in a technical language that can be difficult to understand for those who are not familiar with electrical terminology. Despite its complexity, the NEC is an essential resource for electricians, contractors, and building inspectors. It provides a clear and concise set of guidelines for ensuring the safety of electrical installations. The NEC is constantly evolving to keep pace with new technologies and changing safety standards. The latest edition of the NEC includes new requirements for solar photovoltaic systems, electric vehicle charging equipment, and energy storage systems. It also includes updated requirements for grounding and bonding, arc fault circuit interrupters, or RSIs, and ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs. It is important for electricians and contractors to stay up to date on the latest edition of the NEC in order to ensure that their electrical installations are in compliance with the code. There are many resources available to help electricians and contractors learn about the NEC. The NFPA offers a variety of training courses and publications on the NEC. Many electrical trade associations also offer training and education programs on the NEC. And there are many online resources that provide information on the NEC. In addition to the NEC, there are also other codes and standards that may apply to electrical installations. These include local building codes, state electrical codes, and federal regulations. It is important to consult with local building officials and electrical inspectors to determine which codes and standards apply to a particular electrical installation. Electrical safety is a serious matter, and it is important to take precautions to protect yourself from shock and other hazards. Always turn off the power to the circuit before working on it. Use insulated tools. Wear safety glasses and gloves. And never work on electrical wiring in wet or damp conditions. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, hire a qualified electrician. By following these safety precautions, you can help to ensure that your electrical installation is safe and reliable.